Sagnik, are you here?
Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Me, you are to me. So, uh,
हाँ सुनाई दे रहा है ना?
yeah, Sagnik, आवाज आ रही है आपकी. So, great in a way, warm
हाँ
welcome to
भैया.
you. And how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Fine. How is the life at IDC?
It's very happening here, and the courses and modules are very interesting.
Very interesting. Great. So, yeah,
Is it echoing my voice?
to me it's not, but some are people are saying, figure out a way. Echoing a bit. Okay, Sagnik's voice is okay. Mine. Gate बंद
Hello,
कर, gate बंद.
is it fine now? Okay.
Yes. So yeah, Sagnik, let's keep this session a little interactive. We will keep asking questions, and so how this session is being planned. Uh, Startingly, we will talk, and I will ask few questions to you around your preparation, your journey of UCEED preparation, and how you started, and what you all did, and in each section, like you said, part A, part B, all things we will talk about. And at the
Okay.
last, I think 20-15 minutes or something more, we will have a Q&A with people around here in the session. We'll able to answer as many questions as possible. So would this is a fine way? Zagnik, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yep.
Uh,
So yeah, we can let's
yeah.
start with. So to start with, I would just like to introduce myself, and then I can things we can start with that. So myself, I'm a bachelor's in design and interaction designer. Do a lot of stuffs about interaction, wall designing, wall interaction, UI UX. You guys must have heard about. Also, I'm a division mentor from the last 3 years. I'm teaching, helping design students in NID, UCEED, NIFT, and other private colleges design exams and portfolio preparations, interview, how to crack those, and what are the things you should apply, and all the strategy and helping people understand design. That's the core aim of division and me. We basically make sure key that the design education is not too far from people, and it's also a field like just like engineering and others. Like since ITs are also recognizing, and soon their ITs joining uh, design and bringing design as a bachelor's degree in there. So that's the aim for division and me to bring design awareness among students. And yeah, like I have a 3 year experience of teaching, and Sagnik is also our one of the students. Talk about UCEED 2023. Yeah, we have a great courses, and we are planning to bring some new courses also at divisions. So coming to the main topic of today's sessions is what are the last days UCEED strategy. So Sagnik, if you can hear me, can you tell me what are the things you did at the last days, like a month ago, or in your last months, and what are the things you don't do? Ki you should avoid doing that, and all things to avoid and things to do. So would you highlight on these things? Like to Sagnik, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Did you heard my question, Sagnik? Uh,
Am I audible?
हाँ आवाज आ रही
हाँ हाँ एक्चुअली प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है यहाँ पे.
थोड़ा है ठीक है मैं रिपीट करता हूँ मेरा क्वेश्चन सो माय क्वेश्चन इज सेकंड पे कलर से एक कोई my question is uh, what are your last days strategies of do and don'ts last 28 30 days what you have done what you should have done in those last days and what one should not do in those last days would you like to share some strategies about last day preparations around reseed and what you did what you didn't did and what things helped you and what things doesn't help you तो उसके बारे में कुछ
Um, yeah, firstly, I avoided studying new theory things in the last few days because that is the least important part of UCEED. And in our batch, we had no assess theory questions, the GK part. It was completely removed last year. And the thing that I did the most was practicing the previous year papers again, like the same paper 2 or 3 times. And then chalking out the parts that I felt were stronger actually, instead of working on the things that uh, I was lagging behind. The parts that I was good at, I tried getting better at them because you don't need to answer all the questions in UCEED actually. Uh, so I tried sticking to the things that I felt I was more confident in. I tried getting better at them and practicing more in those areas itself, so that I could at least answer all the questions from such sections.
okay so like basically if we make a pointers out of this like you worked on your weak areas at the last and then you
Yeah.
practiced your confident the areas in which you're confident and just practicing those that's was the thing and things you told about to avoid is not touching anything new at the last time right
Yeah.
and what else in terms of
And you can,
minds go ahead
in terms of,
in terms of mindset were you in a panic nervous and all those things
no, that is something you should avoid. I feel like anyone should avoid in the last moment, because if you get into a lot of new stuffs, you'll start panicking, obviously. So you should be confident and like stay as much calm as possible. That helps in a lot of ways.
okay and your basic day schedule is same you didn't change in the last time
Yeah, I tried practicing more questions in the exam itself. Like it was 9 to 12 probably, the exam timing. So I used to practice an entire question paper in that time itself. Like every day from 9 to 12, I used to sit with a question paper and solve the entire paper. So that kind of sets your biological clock in that way.
true true so that's what we also teach
Yeah.
at division great we can move forward now I would like Sagnik to dig deeper in things so talking about part A and your like whole maybe year or 6 months or a month preparation you can talk about that journey about how you prepared for your part A. We tell part A we
For
talk
part
about
A,
for part A we talk about UCEED part A like aptitude questions and different kind of according to UCEED syllabus and all previous year papers and all. So at division we think that's about critical thinking skills, design thinking skills, visualization things skills which one should develop over the period when they are preparing and all and it's all about problem solving problem identifying and it's if you just go in that kind of scenario we you can able to solve all kind of questions in part A of course there are difficult questions easy questions but you should choose the questions which you are comfortable and tackle them and use a simple problem solving strategy will I think do blunders and give you good results in solving them so that we at D Vision believe in that yeah, Sagnik, what you have gone through in part A, like the visualizations was there and a lot of different topics were there in part A. So how you prepared about your in 6 months or around how much time you have taken, and you can tell a story around that, your preparation.
Yeah, I started my preparation back in class 11 itself. Like the practicing questions and all that. I started with the past year papers, and then somewhat practiced the NID and NIF papers, and then the BR ones as well, because a lot of questions and there are kind of similar questions in the architecture entrance exams as well. So the numerical questions and the uh, questions in both in all the three parts in three sections in part A.
Right. So have you
So
prepared
the
topic wise
previous year
topics?
papers were the most helpful things.
Okay. Okay. What else you prefer doing something else?
Um, I used to like make my own notes.
Important.
That was a very helpful thing, because when you make your own notes, you know what is present in them. Like you have an idea about what are the things that you need to work on. Like just as you go on preparing and solving papers, you keep making notes on the things that you feel are important. So that is something I used to do from the very beginning. Like as you go on solving papers, note down the questions that are going wrong, and after you solve a paper, just sit with the mistakes for another week maybe, and delve into the topics deeper, so that the next time you solve the same paper, uh, you get a better score out of it, and it's logically more clear to you.
Yeah, yeah. Like basically analyzing your paper at the end and
Yeah.
working on the areas. That's interesting. I believe my mic is echoing, so I'm changing my mic. 1 minute. Is it echoing
Is
still?
it echoing still?
So let's move
So
forward
let's move forward
and
and
talk about further
talk
things.
about
So
other
in
things.
part
So in
A,
part A,
so you basically
so
told
you
about
basically
that
told
two
about
things are
the
there in
two
part A. One is
things are
about
there in part
strategy
A.
and
One is
another
about
thing.
strategy and another thing
I think you did touch,
I
but
think
you
it
would
didn't
like to
touch,
touch
but you would
about
you
how
like
you
to touch
manage
about
time
how
in
you
part A,
manage time in
like
part
both
A,
in terms
like
of
both in terms of
day-to-day preparation at
day-to-day
the same
preparation
time,
at the same
in the
time,
exam how
in the
you
exam, how
manage
you
time,
manage time,
and
and
yeah, all those things.
yeah, during the preparation phase, it's good if you can like allot a definite time to every question, like not more than 2 minutes to each question in the from the very initial phase. Like uh, that used to be my strategy, at least in the preparation phase when I was solving question papers. Uh, I used to actually sit for 2.5 hours or 3 hours, the allotted time for the paper, and complete the paper in that specific time. Like that comes to around 2 minutes for each question. And on the day of exam as well, I tried using the same strategy. If a question is taking too long, I just left the question and then skipped on to the next question. And if there's time at the end, I came back and there was time for me. Like I finished the paper a little early, and I had left a few questions, of course. So I came back and like tried solving the question that I felt I could in the left time.
Okay.
So basically,
Okay.
he mean to
So
say
basically,
कि
he
he
mean to
prepared
say
his strategy
he
of how
prepared his
he is to
strategy of how
allocate the
he is
time,
to
and he
allocate
gone
the
with his
time, and he
strategy.
gone with his strategy.
That 2 minutes per
He
question,
that
and he
two
told
minutes
that
per
he want
question,
to
and
do the
he told that
question
he want
paper
to do the question
twice,
paper
thrice. So he was like
twice,
2 minutes
thrice.
each
So he
question,
was
then
like
coming
two
back,
minutes
and
each question,
when
then
he
coming
comes
back,
back, it
and
was
when he comes
something
back,
in
it
his
was
subconscious
something in
mind.
his
कि, okay, I have
subconscious
to
mind.
come back and
कि,
see
okay, I have
that
to
question.
come back
So
and see
in
that question.
subconscious
So
mind,
in
people
subconscious mind, people
keep solving questions.
solve
So
keep
that
solving
was his
questions. So
strategy,
that
and
was his
that's the
strategy, and that's
way
the
he move forward.
way
So
he
again,
move forward.
depend on
So
people
again,
to know,
depend
but
on
that's
people.
it.
Because the second time when he comes to the question, he already have a basic idea about it, what it's asking, and how much of it is left.
True.
True.
Cool. So I think
Cool. So
that's
I think
the
that
much. Would you like to add
the
something else in
much. Would you
part A?
like to
People
add
should be
something else in
cautious
part
of,
A?
or
People should be cautious
something else.
I don't think there's
of
anything more.
something
Cool,
else.
cool. We can move forward. Let's talk about part B,
Cool.
sketching
Cool. We can
section,
move
which is
forward. 30
30
talk
minutes
about
in
part B, sketching section, which
UCEED
is
and Improduce in
30 minutes in
2020.
UCEED and
It's
Introduce in
60 marks
2020.
overall, which consists
It's
of perspective,
60 marks
products, and
overall, which consists of
different things you have to
perspective,
create a kind of
products,
scene
and
there.
different
So
things you have to
how would
create a
you
kind of scene
have
there.
you preparation
So
your
how would you
daily
have a
preparation, what
preparation
sketching
your
was, and
daily
your
preparation,
story
what
around
sketching
it,
was, and a
and
story around it,
what
and
would you like to suggest
what
someone
would you
who is
like to
preparing?
suggest someone
Yeah.
who is preparing, and
So yeah.
For the sketching, I used to sit with it for at least 2 to 3 hours every day for the last 2 months at least. Take the past year question. There are only two past year questions for us in the sketching, another three. So I didn't practice human figures that much, and our batch was the first one that received human sketches actually. So I was stuck there kind of. But I practiced the line quality and the circles and all the basic shapes, and that helped on the day of exam. That kind of helps you with the speed when you keep practicing lines, and they have marks allotted for line quality and your neatness as well. And then observing all the things mentioned in the question. Uh, like in our batch, we had this specified time of the day when the question has been asked, and I just added a wall clock showing the time. So that kind of helps in the observation section, I guess, because there's also marks allotted with in the observation.
So that's
Oh,
quite interesting to hear.
quite
Like the
interesting to
core
hear.
want to
The
say
core
कि
want
focus on basics a
to
lot
take
is
is
something
focus
he
on
would
basics a lot
definitely
is
recommend,
something
and
you
I also believe
definitely recommend,
one
and
should do
I also
because
believe one should do
it's a
because
competitive
it's
paper,
a
12th
competitive
student is
paper
giving,
at
and
12
they don't
student is
expect
giving,
high
and
level
they
human
don't expect
figures or
high level
always
human
of
figures,
uh,
or
going
I
deep in
believe
the
so,
shading a lot
going
and all
deep in
those
the
things.
shading a
But
lot and all those
do
things.
they do accept
But
the
do
basics, the
they
The
observation?
do
details,
the basic
uh,
the observation?
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. What I'm saying is that the uh, attention to details, I think that matters because like the small details, if you keep adding them at the end, I think that fetches you a better score than most others because that is something that a lot of people leave out. Like we had a specific number of bags mentioned in the question. It was something like 2 or 3 bags had been left open in the canteen, or there's something like this. So when you add these things into the frame, that kind of obviously fetches you better marks.
Definitely, definitely.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
Yeah.
in
And
terms of the
in
sketching, do
terms
you
of
think
the
that it's
sketching, do you
only
think
checked
that
on
it's
the
only checked on the
skills part, or also you talked
skills
about right
part,
now
or
the
also you talked
observation
about
part,
right now the observation part,
observation, creativity, which we
observation,
also called it,
creativity, which we also called it a
bits of
creativity,
creativity adding,
bits
bits
of
of
creativity
observation,
adding, bits of
those things.
observation,
it's about you have also
you
thought
have
you
also
also
thought
felt
you
through about
also
कि
felt
UCEED
through
question is
about
a
कि
lengthy
UCEED
question.
question is a
They
lengthy
tell a
question.
story,
They
not tell
tell a
कि
story,
draw a
not
scene
tell
of
कि
something
draw a
something.
scene of
Yeah.
something
But they
something.
tell a story,
But they tell a
I
story,
think
and
one of the
I
most
think one
important
of the
part
most
also is how
important part also is
understanding
how
the question.
understanding
I
the
think a lot
question.
of people
I
miss
think
in
a lot
that
of
and
people miss in
miss
that
the
and miss
attention
the
detailing and
attention detailing and
got
Exactly.
confused.
got
So
confused.
how you
So
tackled
how
that
you
thing,
tackle that thing,
is it,
is
do you
it
think that
do you
sketching
think
question
that
is
sketching
also same
question
as
is
a
also
problem
same as a
and you're
problem
solving a
and you're
problem
solving a problem
through sketching?
through sketching?
Yeah, undoubtedly, that is true. Because you need to read the question at least some 3 to 4 times before you actually start sketching. Like, you make a blueprint in your mind that these are the things. The first time you read, it's just making a rough sketch in your mind. And then the second and third time, when you go on reading the question again, you keep adding the details to that same blueprint. Like, I added that clock to show the time of the day. Then some water bottles and all that in that canteen scene. Then the perspective that you choose to show in your frame. So these things, these smaller things add up to the bigger image at the end.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely, absolutely.
So
So,
yeah,
uh,
that is quite interesting
yeah,
time.
that
Let's
is
talk about
quite
little
interesting
about
time. Let's
strategy as
talk
well as in
about
time
little about
management. How would
strategy as
you
well as
like
in
in
time
30
management.
minutes?
How would you
First of
like
all,
in
do you
30
think it is
minutes?
able to
First
solve
of all,
in
do you
30
think it
minutes?
is able to
Again, a
solve in
very
30 minutes? Again,
dumb
a
question,
very
but
dumb question, but
and second question is
and
Yes, it's
your
question is
time management overall.
your time management
How
overall.
what can you tell a little deep
Can you
break your
tell a little
process of
deep
sketching? Like
break your
first we
process
do, like you talked about your
of sketches? Like
blueprint.
first you do,
Can
like you
you
talked about your
elaborate more
blueprint,
on that till the end,
can
where
you
you
elaborate
finish
more
it
on
out
that
with
till the end
finishing,
where
detailing,
finish it
sketching,
out with finishing,
shading,
detailing,
sorry,
sketching,
shadow adding,
shading, sorry,
and all those
shadow
things?
adding, and all those things?
yeah. 30 minutes is challenging, but it's possible. Obviously, like, uh, because for the first 2 to 3 minutes you keep reading the question, as I said, and then for the next 10 minutes maybe you uh, draw out the rough sketch. You add in the figures, you add in the objects, so that comes to 15 minutes already. So for the next 5 to 6 minutes, maybe keep adding the details and other stuffs that other creative stuffs, like something that you feel will support your composition or support the frame. Um, then at the end, if you have time left, then go for the shading. They don't ask for shading probably. They are, you can like render a little, but too much shading will uh, smudge the paper and the overall neatness score might get reduced because they score for neatness. So I didn't shade at all. I added some hatching, but I didn't blend. What I mean is I didn't blend the graphite because if it gets smudged, you lose marks for neatness.
Okay,
How much
so
did
Okay.
you get?
So,
I received 30 marks in drawing, 30 out of 60.
okay. Sagnik, we will answer questions at last. Let's
Sagnik, we will answer questions at last. Let's
keep it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
keep it.
So
Okay. So
that's a great point he mentioned.
that's a
Like
great point
sketching,
he
I think
mentioned.
one
Like
thing he want to
sketching, I
just say
think
in
one thing
sketching
he
is
want to
if
just
you're
say in
very
sketching is
pro in
if you're
sketching,
very
very
pro
very
in
confident,
sketching,
then
very
you
very
should go ahead.
confident, I think you
But
should
if
go
you are
ahead.
like
But
decent
if
and
you are like
kind enough
decent
or
and
little just
kind enough
hatching,
or
cross
little
hatching,
just hatching, cross
just do
hatching,
those things,
just do
it
those
will
things,
still okay because
it will
at the end
still
it's a
okay because
problem and
at
you
the
are
end it's a
neatly
problem and you're
presenting your
neatly
solution.
presenting your solution.
That's what he
That's what
Sagnik,
he Sagnik,
right? Sagnik?
right?
That's
That's
fine. I think we can move
we can
forward.
move forward.
Uh,
Uh,
can you hear me, Sagnik?
can you hear me, Sagnik?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in this
So
journey, it's all
in
about
this journey,
strategy,
it's
timing,
all
and
about
how you
strategy,
preparation.
timing,
But do you
how
think
we
that
preparation.
if
But do you think that
other field
if
people give
other
as an
field
design
people give
exam, and
as an design
one should
exam, and
also
one
be
should
motivated toward
also be
design
motivated toward design
and should
and
understand bits of
should
design.
understand bits of
There were
design.
questions regarding
There were questions
animations,
regarding animations,
photography, if I am not
photography, if
wrong.
I am
Some
not
little bit
wrong.
color
Some little
questions
bit
were
color
there.
questions were there.
Yeah,
if you
they were
remember,
there.
If you
they were there.
remember.
So
There was this question, if I'm not wrong, there was a question where they're given two colors and asked for the intermediate color
mhm,
that comes out when you blend them.
mhm. So
Hmm.
There
basics.
were like
So
4 to 5 colors, and you were asked to put in the missing color.
Mhm. So like basics of
basics
design
of design
principles, color
principles,
theories. You yourself going through
color
foundations, and
theories.
you
You
now you're
yourself
getting
going through
understanding of
foundations, and
those.
you now you're
Yeah.
getting understanding
So
of those.
those basics, I think
But
people
so
should
those basics,
very
I think
basics should
people
know
should
about colors,
very
what's
basics
color
should
theory,
know about colors,
in tone
what's color
shade,
theory, in tone
about
shade,
animation
about
principles,
animation
photography,
principles, photography,
all those
all
basic
those
design principles, even
basic
just
design
cause
principles, even
principles,
just
which we
all
talked
principles
about in
which
our
we
classes
talked about
also.
in our classes also.
So those
So
principles, I think,
those
do
principles,
help
I
and
think,
give
do
us
help
give
and
a
give
decent
a
motivation in
decent
design. Ki, okay,
motivation
these
in
things
design.
we
Okay,
able
these
to
things
do,
we able to
and
do
all.
and all.
What kind of other
What kind
motivations
of
would you
other
like for
motivations
to
would you
give
like
to these
to give to
people who
these
are preparing and
people
giving
who
this
are
exam
preparing
and
and giving this
some
exam and
pointers?
some point?
Okay, the first thing that I would like to tell you is we don't have any exam in IDC. We don't need to give any exam for the first 3 years in IDC. In IIT Bombay,
True, true.
there's no exam for design students.
That's very true.
You just need to complete your assignments and are graded based on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
do
I
you,
hope that's a big motivation for a lot of people.
true, true. But do you
True, true.
think
But
it's a
do you
motivation?
think it's a motivation?
We will. That's another
Will
topic.
that's another topic.
Uh,
Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, but basically, but
yeah,
in
but
design,
basically
people
in
have
design people
assignments,
have assignments,
and you have to
and
submit
you have
those.
to
Yeah.
submit those.
So that doesn't
So
mean you don't
that
have to
doesn't
work
mean you
anything.
don't have to work
So
anything.
yeah,
So yeah,
Yeah.
and
That is.
something more. And apart
something
from
more.
that,
And from
kind
that
of topics would you
kind of
like to tell?
topics would
Ki,
you
what
like to tell?
blend
What
of topics you learn?
blend of topics you learn?
Uh, could you repeat?
I'm talking about like what
I'm
kind
talking
of
about like
things
what kind
people
of
can
things
expect in a design
people
education.
can expect in a design education.
Uh, as in our course till now, we have learned about the basics, the principles, color theory, uh, the regional crafts, and we have research-based projects as well till now.
True. So basically, you
True.
learn a
So
lot of about
basically,
humans
you
a
learn
lot
a
in
lot of
design,
about
right?
humans a lot in design, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
they create, how they do.
The
How they
interaction between
how
humans
they
and
do.
objects.
Yes.
Yes.
So
How?
that's a very
So
interesting
Yeah.
field,
that's a very
person like in
interesting field,
engineering, if we can,
person like in
talk about
engineering, if we can,
engineering,
talk
medical
about
and all,
engineering,
but in
medical
design
and
it's
all,
all
but
about
in
humans
design
and
it's
how
all
to
about
make
humans and
better
how
for
to
them.
make
So that's
better
kind
for
of
them.
also, another
So that's kind
motivation.
of
You are
also,
basically
another motivation.
directly
You are
helping
basically
people in
directly helping people
making
in
their life easier. And
making their life easier. And
so I have some images about
I have some
IDC if
images
you
about
got
IDC
an
if you and got
very
a
good
very good
Yeah.
glimpse of, I think it's
glimpse.
ranged on your life at IDC
It
campus,
I think
the
it
jury,
ranged on your life at IRC campus, the
uh,
jury,
your labs and all.
uh, your
So it's
labs
an interesting
and all.
thing
So it's an
Yeah.
you can
interesting
go through.
thing.
So basically,
You
if
can go through.
division and me, I
Basically,
really like
division and
this
me, I
definition
really
of
like
design,
this
where
definition of
design is
design,
not just what
where
it
design
looks
is
like
not
and
just
feels
what
like,
it looks like
but
and feels
it's
like,
also about how it
but it's
works.
also about how it works.
So I just go
So
through this
I
very
just
basic
go through this
definition,
very
and
basic definition,
one
and
of a great person, Steve
one of the
Jobs,
great persons, Steve
saying
Jobs,
this. So
saying
that's
this.
what I
So,
like. A basic
and
motivation should be having before giving this
right,
exam.
like basic
It gives a
motivation should be
boost to
having before
your
giving this exam. It gives
energy,
a boost to
nervousness,
your
and all those things. So
energy,
those psychological
nervousness,
point
and
of view, I think it's
all those
very
things. So those
important as a
psychological
student. I
point of
think
view, I think
everyone
it's
can
very
able to
important
crack
as a
UCEED,
student. I think
but it's
everyone
all
can
about
able to crack UCEED,
developing those
but it's all about
habitual things
developing
and
those
focusing on
habitual
core
things
areas.
and
Then we
focusing on
work on
core
your
areas.
weakness,
Then
analyzing
we work
things,
on your weakness,
and
analyzing
all.
and all.
Yeah. I would say that before you get into the exam hall, just leave aside this idea that you need to answer everything.
True.
If you
True.
have this mentality that you have to answer the entire paper, you'll miss out on half of the things.
True.
So, getting a score like 160 or 170 out of 240 is actually a huge thing. If you can score some 20 to 30 marks in part B, scoring something around 170 will be a great score in that case. So, I would say just do not spend too much time on the same question to solve everything in the paper. Some questions in the paper will be just to kill your time. So
I think to break this
I
down in
think
a very
to break
student
this
friendly
down
way,
in a very student-friendly way,
he mean basically to
he
select
mean
your
basically
questions,
to select your
select
questions,
things
ki
and do. And
select
also
things
when you
and do.
selecting,
And
basically
also
you're
when you're
unselecting the
selecting,
questions
basically you're
also.
unselecting
This
the questions
question I'm
also. Ki
definitely not
this
gonna do
question I'm
because
definitely
it's
not
not in
gonna
my
do
area of
because
range
it's
or
not in my
my weak
area of
topic.
range or
But
my
that's
weak
also
topic.
saves
So
time.
that's also
Sometimes
saves
it's
time.
also about
Sometimes
ego comes
it's
in.
also about
I
ego
have
comes
prepared
in.
well,
I
so
have
I
prepared well,
should do this
so
question
I
spending
should
20
do this
minutes,
question spending
15
20
minutes.
minutes,
Keep
15
doing
minutes.
that. I think that's
Keep doing
also
that. I
every
think
question
that's
is a
also
4
every
marks, 3
question is a
marks
4
max
marks,
max.
3 marks max.
So people should focus on scoring better.
yeah, so
People
when
should
you can
focus on
answer an
scoring.
easy question in 4 marks, it's better not to spend like 10 minutes on one question,
True.
because that will affect the other parts in the paper that are much easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Let's move forward. So
Let's
just a
move
quick
forward. So just a quick
promotion we can call it. But we
promotion
are
we can call
starting
it.
a
But we are
UCEED
starting
2020
a
crash
UC
course.
2020
I think
crash course.
Sagnik also
I think
attended.
Sagnik also attended.
So would you like to tell
So would you
about
like
Yeah,
Sagnik
I
this
did this.
also,
Sagnik
and
this
did it
also,
help
and
you,
did
like
it
the
help
kind
you?
of
Like
things we
the
did,
kind of things
puzzles
we
and
did,
all?
puzzles and all.
And yeah, I think you should
And
tell
yeah, I think you
more
should
than
tell
me.
more than me.
Yeah, this was very helpful for me because it helped me with the strategy part. A lot of things that I'm telling right now, I learned from this course itself. Like leaving aside your ego firstly while entering the exam hall. That was very helpful for me. It helped me leave out a lot of things in the initial part and then come back to them later. And I was able to answer those questions later
True.
when I let go of that ego thing.
Yes. So I think
Yes.
mental
So I think
preparation,
mental
strategic
preparation,
preparation,
strategic
Yeah,
will.
the
preparation,
mental
that
preparation part was very helpful in this.
Yeah.
It helped me prepare mentally, at least. Like,
Yeah. And
yeah.
what about the
And what about
puzzles
the
we did in
puzzles
this
we did
course? And
in this
I used
course? And
to,
I used to,
if you remember,
if you
those
remember,
puzzles
those
every day
puzzles every
as
day
a homework.
as a homework.
And we used to
And
discuss
we used
yeah,
to
questions. I
discuss
think
questions.
they
discussions
I think
was
helped.
also
discussions
there.
was also there.
Yeah, those were very helpful, all of them.
True, true.
True.
So yeah, that's
So
basically people
yeah,
can
that's
watch. We
basically
basically
people
do
can
in
watch. We
part
basically
A,
do in
part B
part A,
sessions.
part B
Daily we
sessions,
practice
daily
live
we
sessions,
practice
live
live
discussion. And it
sessions,
was very
live discussions.
personalized.
And it was
People
very
have felt
personalized.
nothing like
People have
Sagnik and
felt, I think,
others.
like Sagnik and others.
And you
And
practiced
you
daily
practice
personalized mentorship.
daily
There were
personalized
assignments I
mentorship. There
used to
were
give.
assignments
We
I
used to
used to give.
keep test.
We used to keep tests.
There were feedback sessions. I
There
used
were
to give
feedback
feedback
sections.
in
I used to
mental
give feedback in
preparation and
mental
strategic
preparation and
preparation, and some
strategic
tips and
preparation. And
tricks.
some
Yeah.
There were
tricks.
tricks I used to
There were
tell
tricks
in,
I used to
some
tell
secret
him,
tricks
some
to
secret tricks
shorten the
that
time of the
to
question. If
shorten the
Sagnik
time of the
remember,
question. If Sagnik
a
remember
font trick I
a
used to
font
share
trick I used to
or
share
something.
or
Yeah.
something.
So those were
So those were
really I really worked on, and
I really
that I
worked on,
used to
and
share
that
with
I used
students.
to share
And
with
like I
students.
used to
And
prepare
like I
about
used
design,
to
some
share
design
about design,
knowledge,
some design
motivations
knowledge,
that also help people.
motivation that
So in
also
case
helps people.
anyone
So in
want
case
to register
anyone
for the
want to register
crash
for the
course, it's
crash
starting
course,
soon, so you can
it's
reach out to
starting
me
soon.
at the
You can
rate
reach out
Navneet
to me at
Khetri
the rate
at the
Navneet
last. I
Khetri
think now
at
we
the
can
last.
take
I
some
think now we
questions.
can take some questions.
Uh, yeah,
Uh,
Yeah.
so
yeah,
let me
so
take some
let me
good
take
questions.
some
So
good
there were many
questions. So there
questions.
were many questions.
Um, we can also
Um,
allow
we
people
can
to
also
raise
allow
hand,
people to raise
but
hand,
before
but
that,
before that,
one person is
one
asking.
person is
Its name
asking.
is Bhoru.
Its name is
I
Bhoru.
think doing
I
previous
think
year
doing
questions is enough,
previous year questions is
or
enough,
any other resources also you
or any
followed.
other resources also you followed.
I had taken the practice questions from Silica,
Okay.
Okay.
but they're not very helpful. But I'll say, yeah, if we can practice questions, that is always something beneficial. Even if it adds a little bit to your preparation, it's good. So practice as many questions as possible from whatever resource you get. Like try finding sample papers on the internet. A lot of them are for free. I did all of that.
Okay, I think a lot of
Okay,
questions are
I think a lot
asking. We
of
can ask people
questions
to
are
raise
asking.
hand,
We can
and
ask people to raise hand, and
they can themselves answer,
they can themselves
ask the
answer,
question.
ask the question.
So two people have raised hand. Uh,
So two people have raised hand. Uh,
how can I check that?
how can I check?
Okay, a lot of people have raised hand, but let's keep it a
A lot of
priority.
people have raised hand, but let's keep it a priority. Mm,
Okay, Yash, Snacks, the name Snacks.
yes,
Go ahead and ask.
Snacks. The name Snacks. Go ahead and ask.
You can unmute yourself.
You can unmute yourself.
Or should we do it in the chat itself?
Should we
It's
do it in the
much
chat
better. What
itself?
do you
No, it's
suggest?
much
Prefer
better.
Sagar?
Yeah, that will better, I guess.
Okay. I
The
think
chat.
you can
Okay.
raise
I
down your
think
hands, guys.
you can
We
raise
prefer
down your
chat
hands,
only.
guys. We prefer
So,
chat
any
only.
good questions? Let's
So, any
search
good
of it.
questions? Let's search of it.
Silly mistakes. How you tackle silly mistakes?
Tackle limit.
Um,
Do
do
you
not answer questions if you are not sure. That is something you should keep in mind from the very beginning, because otherwise you lose extra marks for the negative marking. You don't have this in the numerical ability, but even then, try doing this, keeping this in mind even while answering the numerical ability questions. If you're not sure, leave out the questions and come back later.
I think I also had one
I
point.
think I
UCEED is a
point
tricky
is
exam.
UCEED is
So
a
they will
tricky
trick you a
exam,
lot.
so they will trick you a lot.
And one
And
thing people
one
can
thing
do ki recheck
people can
your
do ki
approach
recheck
again.
your approach
Will I
again.
think
Will I
make the
think
silly
make
mistakes
the silly mistakes
less.
less.
Yeah, like there are questions you can do with multiple approaches.
Hmm.
So maybe try out two different methods for the same question if you're not sure of the answer.
So a very general question is
So a very
coming.
general
Someone
question
is
is coming.
preparing for
Someone is
JEE mains and
preparing for
UCEED
JEE
board,
means and
and they're
UCEED
saying
board,
only
and
20
they're
days
saying
are left.
only 20 days are left.
And I believe they are
And
weak
I
in
believe
sketching
they are
and
weak in
lot of
sketching and
things,
lot of
some
things
category.
and some
So what do you
categories.
suggest such kind of
So what do you
people?
suggest such kind of
Last
people?
they just
Last
started their
they just
preparations.
started their
What is the best way to do?
the best way to
Should
do
they do
should
the
they
research which you
do the
did,
research
like
which you did,
going to
like
internet
going
and
to
doing
internet
that again,
and
or like
doing
look
that
for
again, or
some
like look
good
for
resource
some
or
good
general
resource or
area
general area?
to help with?
I never prepared for JEE in the first place. Like I had this goal for UC from the very beginning of class 11. I didn't start with the hardcore preparation in 11, obviously. It was much later in mid class 12, for the last 7, 8 months maybe.
So
Uh,
do you think like it can
do you
be?
in the last 20 days,
Uh-huh. Good.
Good.
I guess the best way is to practice as many questions and papers as possible,
PYQs.
leaving
PY.
the last 2 days, 2 to 3 days, because that time should be spent like as much peacefully as possible. Because it just the final paper just tests your ability to keep your mind calm. If you can keep your mind calm and tackle the questions peacefully, nothing can be better than that.
And sketching.
And sketching?
Person is starting from
Person is
scratch.
For sketching, for the last 20 to 22 days, 20 days, I guess. So it's better to like practice the basics like line quality and basic shapes and some basic human figures maybe. Because last time they asked for human figures.
Okay.
Strategy.
Strategy.
Something. If you find good questions,
If you find good
feel free
questions,
to answer
Sagnik,
them.
feel free to
I'm
answer them.
looking
I'm
Yeah.
also looking.
What is the sequence of attempting paper like MCQ, MSQ, then NAT? No, I started with NAT and then MSQ and then MCQ. Like as I said, I just spent 1 or 2 minutes on every question and then skipped to the next question if I was unable to answer them in 2 minutes. I didn't spend more than 2 minutes on any question from the very beginning. And then you have this column in the right hand side of the screen that shows you the questions that you've skipped. So you can anytime come back to those questions and answer them again. You also have an option to mark for review in the question paper. So if you're not sure of an answer, but you feel that you're like 90% sure of it, especially in NAT, because you don't have a negative marking there. So you can just attempt that question and mark it for review so that you can later come back and check it again. So that these are two very useful features that I was unaware of before getting into the exam hall. The screen shows you the questions that you have skipped, and you can mark any question for review.
Okay. And also, like, I think sequence
And also,
people
I
can
think
change according to their
sequence
strategy. It's not a
people
fixed
can
one
change
that he
according to
followed
their
NAT
strategy.
and
It's not a fixed one.
Yeah.
He followed NAT and
according to,
but
I've seen people
from
starting with
according to I've
MCQ
seen
also
people
first
starting with
and
MCQ
works
also
for them.
first, and it works for them.
I think one more
I
question
think
we can take,
one more
Sagnik,
question we can take,
before we
Sagnik,
end.
now, and before we end.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Can we change our answers once filled? Yeah, you can. You can change your answers anytime.
I think one question is coming. T. What is the
I
marks
think one
required for
question is
getting in
coming. T.
IITs? I
What
think
is the
that is
marks
the
required for
journal
getting
thing
in
that can
IITs? That
sums
is
about.
the journal thing that can sense about.
So, do you thought about it mentally
I think
for
this
these
varies
marks?
every year,
So,
First,
but
do you
something around
mentally for these marks? First,
my target while appearing for the exam was something around 150 out of 240. I'll be honest with this. Like when I got into the exam hall, I was attempting something around 150.
mhm.
So I'd made a mental preparation like I'll score target this much marks in NAT, this much in MCQ, and this much in MSQ maybe. So once I scored that much, I tried solving more questions, and I kept on adding to it. So the average marks required for an IIT is something around um, 170, 180 out of 300 maybe for general.
yeah, I think kind of
Yeah,
the
I think
range
kind of
works in
the
that area. I
range
believe it changes, little bit
works in
changes
that
from
area.
year to
I
year.
believe it changes, little
But
bit changes from year to year.
thank you. I think we
But
answered a lot of questions, and if
thank
there
you.
are
I
Yeah.
think
still
we
some
answered a lot of
questions, I
questions,
think
and if
people
there are
can
still
even
some
reach to
questions,
me
I
and
think
I can reach
people can
Sagnik
even
and
reach
get you
to me
answered
and I can reach
questions.
Samni and get you
But
answered
thanks for the
questions.
time. A
But
very,
thanks
very
for the time.
well.
A very,
Thanks
very
and greetings
well.
to Sagnik
Thanks
for his
and thanks
time and
to
for a 1 hour
Sagnik for
session.
his
I believe
time
he
and
is
for a
busy
1
with
hour
his
session. I believe
assignments.
he is busy with his
So,
assignment.
thank you very much,
So
Sagnik, and
thank you very much, Sagnik, and
thank you for your
thank
contribution
you for
here.
your
And
contribution
I
here.
believe like it
And
will help
I believe like it
students,
will help students,
preparing for the exam
preparing
and
for the
get
exam
answered
and
all their
get answered
queries. And
all their queries. And
we discussed a lot of things
we
in this
discussed a lot of
sessions,
things
and
in this
those will
sessions,
help.
and
And it's I
those will
think
help.
believe
And it's,
we
I
are
think
very
believe
true
we are
here
very
while
true here
speaking. We
while
didn't any
speaking. We
fantasize
didn't
anything.
any fantasize anything.
So
So
that is
Yeah.
that is
very, very important.
very, very
And
important.
yeah,
And yeah,
thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
coming.
much for coming.
And yeah, looking
And
forward
yeah,
for
looking
more
forward for
sessions
more sessions
with you.
with
So
you.
thank you so much, Sagnik.
Thank you so
It
much.
was
Hello. Hello.
That
Hello.
was
an amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
People, please, can you mute yourself? Sagnik, would you like to say something?
People, please, can you mute your? Someone, would you like to say something?
No, I'm done. Like, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, guys, that's all
So,
for this our today's
guys, that's
session.
all for this
Uh,
today's